Guys, I just got the most exciting email. I have been invited to give a TED Talk, which is crazy. That is such a cool opportunity. That's like such a life milestone moment. But what makes it even cooler is that it was nearly 10 years ago. I felt like a complete failure. And back then I was such a different person. I didn't know who I was, what I wanted. I felt so lost and stuck. But what I did know was that I wanted to pursue my dreams, which was creativity.
I say I have all these ambitions and dreams. I want to change the world and spread positivity.
In 2017, I gave my first TED Talk and it was all about one question. Are you living the life you want to live? This was a question that was plaguing my mind at the time because honestly, I didn't have a good answer for it. I wasn't happy, I felt like a failure, stuck, lost. But on this stage, I decided enough was enough and have been spending every day since trying to live the life I want.
Because what's there to lose when you have nothing? Or what's there to gain? Everything.
I was at my lowest with no direction. And now I basically just told the whole world on stage that I'm going to pursue my dreams. Did I have any proof or experience that this was going to work? No. Why did I think this was a good idea? If I didn't feel the pressure before, I definitely felt it now. Now people were expecting me to do something. I was at my lowest, but
Now that I made this statement, if I fail, it would look so much worse. So in my head, I was just like, I cannot fail. And that's exactly what I did. I have spent the past 10 years working towards that goal. I have put myself out of my comfort zone, really pushed the boundaries, hit some of my lowest moments and got back up, kept pushing forward, questioned myself, did the internal work, figured out what it is that I wanted and who I am, and showed up for myself every single day for the past 10 years. And now I get to go back on that stage and show the world all the growth that I've done. Basically, I have exactly 1 month to give a TED Talk about the past decade of my life. No pressure. Okay, let's do this. It was exactly 10 years ago that I posted my first ever spoken word poetry video on YouTube. It was called I Hate Myself. And I feel like that paints quite a clear picture of how I felt about myself at that time. I didn't know how to handle all the feelings I was going through. And that was around the time that I discovered spoken word poetry. And I feel like poetry gave me this outlet to express all the things I was feeling in a way I couldn't do in my personal life. So I just started posting all these videos about all the struggles I was going through. I talked about depression, anxiety, feeling like a failure, not knowing what the future would hold and how that terrified me. Girlie was really going through it. She was sharing it on the internet for the whole world to see. Looking back now, I don't understand how I was that okay with that. Like, that is such a brave and vulnerable thing to do. But I think it also highlights just how low I felt, that at that point I didn't feel like I had anything to lose. Like, I felt so low about myself. I no longer cared if people viewed me that way. Like, this is just my reality and I don't know how to get out of it. But what was really beautiful about that time period was, even though I was at my lowest point, that's when I started connecting with people all around the world. I finally felt like I had a voice. People were telling me how these poetry videos made them feel seen and they were going through the same thing. I finally felt like I had people that really got me. And that only happened because I was so vulnerable. And it started at such a low point. By being honest about it, it pretty much gave me everything, which is so crazy to think back on now. So I was like starting to gain a following. And it was around this time that I got the opportunity to give a TED Talk. And I basically went on stage and just told the whole world I had had enough of this. Like, I am so done feeling this way and I want to actively make a decision to change my life. I didn't feel particularly good about myself at the time, but I was just so done. And I wanted to believe that there is a better option for me. And I feel like looking back, that was the best thing I could have done, because that's when I started to show up for myself. That's when I started making hard decisions, putting in the hard work, going out of my comfort zone and really choosing myself every single day. And I have basically kept doing that for the past decade. And now, 10 years later, I am going on stage, talking about things I'm passionate about and feel like I have a voice that matters. I have written my own poetry book. I got the opportunity to work with UNICEF on a global platform. Like, UNICEF knows who I am. That is insane. For someone who went from feeling so insignificant to get opportunities like this now, I feel like I haven't even processed it. The past 10 years have been so quick and so go, and I'm constantly doing things. And I feel like it's only now that I have this task to write this TED Talk that I'm really sitting down and reflecting on the past 10 years. And it's insane how much can change in a decade. I'm basically writing the structure to it. I have lots of ideas. The title of my talk is How One Decision I Made 10 years ago completely changed the trajectory of my life. The plan is to write 2 spoken word poems for the talk. So that's a lot of pressure because I'm gonna have to write them and make sure it encapsulates everything I wanna say, which is basically the past 10 years, memorize it and perform it on stage. So no pressure. But I really like poetry. That's how my whole journey started. So it's like a nice, is it homage to that? Is that how you say it? But like, it's just like a nice nod to that. But what's so interesting is when I'm writing the poem now, I have a completely different mindset. I went from writing poems from a place of being scared and feeling like a failure to now writing poetry from a place of confidence and encouragement and guiding others to like pursue a different path where they choose themselves. It's just so crazy that I get to write from this perspective now, and it's so nice. I think as I'm writing this, I am seeing it from the perspective of like what I would have said to younger me and what she would have wanted to hear. I feel like me 10 years ago was looking and seeking for advice or some guidance of like, what should I do? I didn't have that back then. Whereas me going on stage now is basically being the person she needed back then. So I want to write this talk for all the younger me's who are feeling stuck and lost. And I want to give them a sense of like safety and encouragement. Also all the lessons and advice I have based on this journey. And I also want to show younger me that it did work out and everything's great. It was all worth it. So I want to be on stage super confident and happy and be like, look, you did it. Look how cool and confident you are now. And that was all because you made that decision 10 years ago. No pressure, but that's everything I want to encapsulate in the talk. Now that I'm taking the time to reflect, I think my biggest milestone on this journey has been hitting 1 million subscribers. The journey was so intense.
Hello, internet.
I was working overtime every single day. I was filming, editing, producing, putting myself out of my comfort zone. I was just giving it my all, showing up, pushing myself to the limit. All that time and commitment was paying off.
All of a sudden I was like, oh, okay, I'm hitting 1 million and I'm not mentally ready for it, I'm not prepared. There are people out there that care. What?
When I saw the numbers on the screen and it hit 1 million subscribers, all of the hard work, all the putting myself out there, all of that self-belief in pursuing my dreams and believing and hoping that it would work out was validated. And that was huge. I had the results now to show that it wasn't all in my head and I wasn't silly for wanting to choose me and pursue my dreams. Because I feel like when you say you want to pursue your dreams in life, it feels like a silly thing to say, it feels embarrassing because what if it doesn't work out? And a lot of times you are looking for the proof. And for a long time I didn't have that. And so when I hit 1 million subscribers, that was the most ultimate proof. It showed me what can happen when you choose yourself. I now have the proof. I actually do, I can show it. So this one. And this is what I worked hard for. I haven't even displayed her, which is so bad. This right here is all the validation I need. I am so proud of this baby. I worked way too hard to get it and the hard work paid off. One of the quotes I live by is, do something today that future you will thank you for. I thank past me every single day. Thanks to her doing all the hard work, having the courage to choose herself, I now get to reap all the rewards. I have my own place. I live in London. All the people I've met along the way, all my friends. I have my dream career. I get all these cool opportunities to do cool things. The other day, I did a panel talk. I was on the same panel as Sidemen's manager, which is one of the biggest YouTube channels, especially in the UK, and the head of YouTube Creator Partnerships. Like, these are 2 very influential big people, and I'm on the same panel as them. Insane. If you compare it to like how 10 years ago, I didn't even feel like I had a voice, and now I'm sharing a stage with these cool people, it's just insane. Sometimes when you feel stuck in life and lost, it's very easy to feel helpless and like feel like it's always going to be that way and you don't know how to get out of it. But I guess this is proof that you definitely can. and your reality could be so different. It just takes a lot of hard work, being incredibly resilient, but it doesn't mean it's impossible. It's just not an easy path, but it is so worthwhile. Look at how battered my poetry sheets are. I like to physically write out the poems and then memorize them. For some reason, memorizing is much easier when it's like handwritten as opposed to on the laptop, because I feel like on the laptop, every word looks the same. As you can see, I've been memorizing this to death and it's like all fallen apart. But the good thing is I do feel like I know it. I was really worried about the poetry part the most, because when you're doing spoken word poetry on stage, you kind of have to know it, because you can't afford to like mess it up because it'll be so obvious because it's like a rhyme. I am feeling much more comfortable about the poetry aspect. I still haven't got like the completed talk yet, which is kind of crazy because we haven't got that much time left. I know what I want to say. I just have to figure out how I'm gonna say it in the right way, and I'm still working on that. But I have made a huge breakthrough. I was writing ideas last night and I have come up with a very strong takeaway from the talk. And I quite like how I say it. The whole talk is basically about decisions and how hard it was for me to figure out what decision I should make in life. 10 years ago, I felt like I was being presented with the right decision and the wrong decision, and me choosing myself and pursuing a path of uncertainty and risk felt like the wrong decision. Now 10 years later, it's all worked out and I realized what I felt like was the wrong decision back then was actually the right decision, because it led me to where I am today. So it made me think about like decision making and how there is no right or wrong decision in life. There's just decisions, and we make decisions every single day, and every decision we make has its own set of consequences that we can learn from. We put so much pressure on ourselves on making the right decision. I don't even think that's a thing. I think all there is in life is making decisions that you have to deal with, and every decision you make is gonna have an element of hard. If I had chosen the right path 10 years ago, which was pursue law, I would still feel stuck and lost and not happy with my life now, and that would have been my hard. But I chose the wrong path, which was pursuing YouTube. That was hard for a really long time. I was failing, I was not seeing success, I couldn't guarantee that it would work out, and that was my hard. I had to deal with that because that's the consequence of making that decision. And now 10 years later, I can say it all worked out, and I am so much happier that I chose that path because I know myself way more, and I know who I am and what I want. And now decision making is so much easier because I know who I am. So for me, that aspect of hard was worth it. So I don't think it's about making the right or wrong decision. It's about choosing your hard. In any aspect of life, there is going to be an element of hard. But luckily, we get to choose which hard is worth it. And for me, going down the more unpredictable, risky path to pursue my dream was way more worth it than playing the safe path and just being miserable. So yeah, that was my breakthrough moment. I feel like that seems like a good, strong takeaway. Writing this talk has made me realize a lot of things, and now I just get to share all the things I've learned with everyone. Very soon. It's happening very, very soon. I need to make sure I get this talk down. I still feel unprepared. I still feel like it's not finished because it's not finished, but I'm like really happy with the things that I have. Yeah, I just need to keep memorizing, keep practicing, keep writing. It's all happening, but we're feeling good. We're feeling very good. It is the day before the TEDx talk. I feel like it's come so quickly. When I was asked to do the TEDx talk, at the time I was like, oh, I've got so much time. It's ages away. And now that it's gonna be tomorrow, I'm kind of like, wow, I don't feel super prepared for it. Like, I feel like I know the talk. I've lived this, so I'll be able to talk about it, but I just want to do it well. In terms of memorizing, I've mainly been focusing on the poems, and I feel like I know the poems quite well, which is the most important thing because the rest of the talk is me talking. I'm a yapper. If I forget what I need to say, I can just waffle and keep myself going. But when it's a poem and it rhymes, you very much have to be to the beat and know what you're saying, you really can't afford to forget it. So I'm glad that this is a part that I know quite well. But last night I was going through the talk and I was like, oh, I just feel like it's not hitting the points. I don't know if the conclusion is impactful. I was up till 1 in the morning. Have I left it a bit too late? Hopefully not. But today I am traveling to Warwick because that's where the event is happening. Right now, I'm very clearly all over the place. I'm feeling lots of things and like anxious, not anxious, but just like, oh, whatever that word is. I think that is anxiety. Today's rehearsal day. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully it doesn't freak me out, because the first time I did my TEDx talk, I messed up in the rehearsal and it really freaked me out. And then tomorrow is the talk. I'm gonna now spend the rest of today basically packing. I'm gonna leave in like an hour or so. And so I have like a good hour to like just keep going through the talk and practicing it and getting it in my head.
I'm someone who definitely works better with deadlines. I need adrenaline to kick in, and it definitely did. On the train, on the way to the event. Suddenly my mind was full of ideas and I managed to write a strong conclusion. One day I won't leave things to the last minute. Today was not that day. But I now have a finished, completed talk. I just have very little time to memorize it. In my hotel room for the night. I'm in Warwick University. I've never been to Warwick University. It looks quite nice. It's very sunny today. Everyone's so lovely and friendly so far. Rehearsals are happening in like a couple of hours, and then tomorrow is the big day.
Hi, I'm Cass. I've been working on this TEDx script with Taz. And it's so fun. I'm so excited.
Amazing.
Yay!
2017-year-old Taz had no confidence in herself. She had no idea if it was going to work out and she was just so scared. Sometimes when you feel like that, you feel like your voice doesn't matter. To be able to be in the position I am now and to be able to say to her, like, no, your voice does matter and your dreams are important, it's like such a reaffirming feeling of like, it wasn't just all in my head. I wasn't just being delusional. Those thoughts and feelings and dreams were valid. And not only were they valid, you're gonna go on to do so many cool, crazy things beyond those dreams. Now I just feel like I matter. And that's the most important thing through all this process is like, yes, it looks cool to do all these cool things and have all these opportunities, but the main thing is how I feel about myself on the inside. And now I wake up every day and I just feel like I matter. I want everyone to know what that feels like. Because I know what it feels like to not matter, and it's not a fun feeling. And getting here has been incredibly hard. It's been 10 years of consistent work. Like, it's not easy. It's so worth it because now I get to wake up and love my life and feel like I matter.
And then I went on stage. I thought I'd feel nervous, but actually it was the most natural and confident I'd ever felt. It didn't feel like I was performing. It felt like I was just being me.
So cool that we're experiencing this together.
I know.
That's such a cool.
It'll just always be a shared memory, you know.
The cool thing about growth is that you can see it in so many ways. You can see it in my lifestyle, the things I get to do, the people I get to meet, the conversations I get to have. But you also feel it. Life just feels easy now. Not because it's simple, but because it feels right. I live a life that's in tune with who I am and what I want, and I'm the happiest and most fulfilled I've ever been.
7 years later, I can finally answer the question. Am I living the life I want to live? And the answer is yes. Yes, I am. I can now say to the whole world on camera that I truly feel the most me I've ever felt in my life. And I would describe my life as my dream life. I now wake up every day and feel so at peace knowing that I am showing up as my authentic self. Like, who I am on camera right now is my true me. And by true me, I don't mean perfect me. I don't mean super happy all the time me. I just mean real me. Now I live a life that feels right to me and feels honest and true and authentic. And yeah, I just feel very lucky, honestly. Like, has the journey getting to here been easy? No. But has it been so incredibly rewarding and fulfilling? Yes. Through prepping for this TED Talk, it gave me the opportunity to reflect on the past 10 years. And it is crazy how much growth has happened. But I feel like going back on that stage and giving that talk almost feels like the end of this chapter. I set out on this goal, on this mission to find myself. This felt like me closing that chapter and being like, yes, we did this. We're here, we made it work. And I guess now I need to find a new goal. What's my next 10 years gonna look like? I have no idea, but I am feeling very excited and curious to go on this new chapter and learn new things about myself. I have been feeling for a little while now that there's been a shift in me. I can feel myself growing and maturing, my priorities and needs changing, and I feel like I'm going into a new area in my life, which is very exciting. I don't know what it's gonna look like, what's gonna hold. Maybe I'll make another video in 10 years' time and being like, look at all the things I've learned in the past 10 years. Life just feels very fun, open, curious, and just full of growth and learning. And it feels really good to be in this space 10 years later. One of the coolest part of all of this is the fact that I've been able to share this journey with you guys, and you guys have been able to see me grow in real time. And I hope I'm lucky enough to keep doing that, because I love this online space. It's given me so much, as you can see, and I would love to continue growing and learning with you guys. So hopefully you'll come along on the journey. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I love you lots. As always, please know they matter, and I shall see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.